They're twinning. Hey y'all, it's Olivia of AV Reads, AV Club, whatever. Back here to do another book haul today. And today, my book haul is a combination of a used vintage book haul as well as a tiny little library haul because I really did not need any more books from the library. Let's get into it. So these books can roughly be sorted between like coffee table books, vintage sci-fi, vintage horror, and then my library books. So I'm gonna do the books that I think my current viewers will be least interested in first and kind of just like briefly go through them. The first author that I picked up 2 books from, so let me preface this by saying, like, I did not intend to do another book haul so soon, but my local used bookstore was doing a massive sale that was like buy 2 get 1 free and like $1 mass market paperback. So like all of the used books that I show you, all of the books together cost like 15 bucks. So it was a great day to help them clear out inventory, to welcome new, and to grab some stuff for my shelf. The first author that I'm going to be talking about is Angela Carter. I picked up 2 books from Angela Carter, Shaking a Leg, which is collected writings, I think autobiographical, as well as the Magic Toyshop, which this is like the one that I was like really interested in actually reading. And then this one, you know, it was $1 and I was like, well, if I like this, then, you know, maybe I'll want more from her. And they're, you know, from a matching set. The illustrations are super cool, and this looks like something that I'm actually gonna, you know, really like. About what it's actually about, maybe a magic toy shop, but a classic gothic novel, says the back of the book, and I'm willing to trust it for a small fee. The next thing I picked up was volume 1 of Nowhere Men. I've been interested in reading this comic before, but had never, I've never read anything by any of the other, by these authors before, or like any of the illustrators, never read anything by them. But I like basically, you know, most of the stuff that Image puts out. It looks super cool and stylish. I'm interested in reading it, and for $1, it's hard to say no for like a perfect copy of volume 1 of a comic that I've been meaning to get around to. Icons of Women's Style. I think this is gorgeous, and I really like the photography, and I'm interested in like fashion history, just as much as I'm interested in, you know, like any other art. It might not seem like I'm super fashionable, but I do like looking at it, and like I know more than it would let on, based on how I dress, but you know, we all have our issues. But it goes like piece by piece, so like capes for women throughout fashion history, and different types of dresses, empire line dresses, and like, oh, mod everything, shirt dresses, caftans, trousers, leggings. Like, oh, I love this. I really love this. Culottes. Like, you're telling me you don't need the history of culottes? I do. So interested in giving this a flip through, and I think it's a, you know, a gorgeous book for $1. On that note, another gorgeous coffee table book for $1, which I'll actually be like using, the World Atlas of Architecture. Oh my gosh, like look at these like cutouts. Like, I love this. I love this. Like, will I be reading word for word this whole book? No, of course not. But I love to like look at pictures and like city planning and architecture throughout history. Oh my gosh. A flying buttress, like, you're a fool. You're a fool if you say no to looking at pictures of a flying buttress. So happy to have, where am I gonna put this? I don't have any bookshelves that are big enough to hold this, nor do I have a coffee table, which might be the, you know, more obvious place to put a book like that. But as someone who's been planning to move away from Louisiana for a very long time and now planning to move to Australia, it's like I'm trying not to acquire like a lot of like furniture and stuff. You would think that I wouldn't be trying to acquire heavy books like this, but like I'm the curator of this book now and I'll pass it off to someone else who loves it after I use it. The next books that I have to talk about are some vintage sci-fi books. The first one is Twistor by John Cramer, who is a physicist. And so reading some reviews of this, like people were saying it was like a little bit dry. I think because it's coming from like that hard sci-fi angle from someone who is like actually in the biz. But a research laboratory in Seattle University, a physicist makes an astonishing discovery that opens doors into numerous alternate universes. Like, I'm interested in like giving a try to some more sci-fi soon, and I'm definitely like looking for like sci-fi recs. Really, like the stuff that I've enjoyed in the past has been like Philip K. Dick, and have I read that much more? No, I mean like occasionally like some like pop culture, like less genre reads, like you know, like The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey is not like hard sci-fi, but is like sci-fi themed. So I've read stuff like that, but looking to get into more genre reads, especially anything that's like cyberpunky, I think would be up my alley. But let me know what y'all think. The next two are by the same author, and I think like one is like a soft sequel. Circuit of Heaven and End of Days by Dennis Danvers, which is like about a cyber utopia, and I think like love across a cyber utopia, which sounds like me. So I'm very interested. And I really do want to get to this one, and I'll probably like and I'll probably talk about it more like as I plan to read more sci-fi in the future, maybe in the upcoming year. If anyone wants to like read some sci-fi with me, I love horror, but I'm down for trying new things. The next four are all vintage horror picks. Number one, Come Into My Parlor by Marilyn Campbell. I love this cover. It's about a book cover illustrator who's it's about a book cover illustrator, and there's been a mysterious death, and she is put under investigation for a murder for a body that's found in her house. Don't really care to know anything more. I think it's interesting to have a book be about a book cover illustrator whenever this is like a genre that has like, you know, well-known illustrated book covers. So I haven't heard anything about any of these. And I like, you know, briefly looked on Goodreads, but they didn't have a lot of reviews, and that's fine with me. I find them intriguing. The next book I'm really excited about, A House Divided by Deborah LeBlanc. Deborah LeBlanc is a local to me horror writer. She's from Lafayette, and this book is set in Louisiana, and I've been looking to read more horror set in Louisiana that's actually by authors from Louisiana. Anne Rice, I don't think is necessarily going to be up my alley, but I'm very interested in like trying this out and seeing what I think. But I'm also like, should I be writing the Louisiana horror that I think deserves to be seen in the world? Maybe so. Maybe I shouldn't be putting it on other people to make the content for me. Maybe I'm supposed to be doing it myself. So maybe I'll suck it up and write something. It's been a while since I've creatively written, but you know, I know some things. But this is like a very interesting premise that there's like a 2-story house that like they like split into like a duplex, I think, but like have maybe split apart a ghostly family that did not want the house to be split into 2. So that's like a very interesting premise, and I'm looking forward to getting to it hopefully soon, and hopefully it's a book that I can recommend, so whenever I get annoyed by people writing books about Louisiana but not like having any kind of like vested interest in the well-being of people from here, or like having lived here, or anything about the realities of life in Louisiana other than like this like Disney World view of like what New Orleans is like. I need to like have a replacement recommendation rather than just being like, that's so annoying that they would write that. So hopefully it's this. If not, you know, books by Olivia Broussard coming to you soon. The next book that I picked up was Naomi by Douglas Clegg, which is about the subways of Manhattan, for the descent into the vast subterranean passageways beneath the city and the discovery of a mystery and a terror greater than any human being could imagine. But it's like set in like, I think like Brooklyn, because it's talking about brownstones with a burial ground of people who have been accused of witchcraft. That's a very interesting premise to me, and I'm very interested to see what I think, because it didn't have a lot of reviews and it sounds pretty cool. But apparently Douglas Clegg was a previous winner of the International Horror Guild Award and the Bram Stoker Award, but I've never read anything by him. But this one sounds really cool. The last one I picked up because I wanted to read a different book by this author, and I haven't read it yet, and they had this one and Thomas Tryon's The Night of the Moonbow, and I really want to read Harvest Home, but I just like haven't gotten around to it yet, and that's one where like the vintage cover looks incredible, and so it might be something that I would want like a physical copy of, but I'm not really like a collector. Like the only reason I bought all these is because it was $1, supporting my local used bookstore. I'm not like a collector of like vintage horror, so maybe whenever I move I'll be passing all of my books on to a lucky member of the audience, if y'all are interested in any of these too. But this is about a Bible camp in rural Connecticut, where horrible things happen in cabin 7. So maybe I'll save this for like next summer, since it's like a summer, I don't know that it necessarily says it's summer camp, but like camp to me says summer camp. But it doesn't have the best reviews, and probably had the most reviews of any of the books that I looked at, but like I think it sounds cool. Like a Bible summer camp where creepy stuff happens, I'm down for it. So, on to my library haul. A very small library haul today, because truly, if you watch my last haul, I've read barely any of those books yet. Have I read any of those books yet? Ooh, maybe not. I've read some books, but I don't know that they were those. The first one that I picked up was a sci-fi novella that came out, I guess, in June 2021, The Album of Dr. Moreau, and it's about a boy band called Wild Boys, and their producer, they're all animals, they're all like part animal, but their producer is found murdered, and they're trying to figure out which one of the Wild Boys did it. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. And it's like a short sci-fi novella for me to get some more experience reading sci-fi again. It's like not something I ever intended to not read. I just I think I need recommendations because, or I just like need to get started reading to like figure out what I actually like, the same way that I did with horror. It's just like read a ton across the like different subgenre to figure out what I actually like. The next one I picked up was Ghost Stories of Old New Orleans by Jean de La Vigne, and this is all ghost stories from New Orleans. I'm looking to fill out my knowledge of Louisiana folklore and ghost stories and everything like that, history, maybe to tie in with like what I was saying earlier about like maybe I'm supposed to be the person that's like writing Louisiana horror stories if no one else is, because I definitely know Louisiana well, and know Louisiana outside of New Orleans well, which is the Louisiana that's never represented in anything except you know, like True Detective season 1, that was good Louisiana horror. That really felt like Louisiana to me. It looked like Louisiana to me. So I want to add more to the canon. We'll see. I don't want to promise anything, but we'll see. And then the last book of this haul is The Escape Room by Megan Golden. I've never read anything by her. I think her newer book is called, is that Who Wrote the Night Swim? It's more of like a thriller, I think. This one is from 2018. And I just saw the title, The Escape Room, and I double checked the synopsis just to make sure that there was a real escape room in it and it wasn't like a, you know, just a metaphorical escape room. I don't, you know, like escaping from your like boring life or something like that, but no, there's a real escape room. And that's something that really appeals to me, is anything like any kind of like thriller or horror that has like a game element or a puzzle element. I like that. I like that a lot. And I like real escape rooms, even though I've only done one. I need to do some more. But you have to have like people to go with, but I love them because they're like a video game in real life. But yes, if you have any recommendations for, I didn't look up any reviews for that because I didn't care. I don't care. I love stuff that has a game element, like Saw has a game element. Any of like those like trashy horror movies, like, you know, like Truth or Dare, The Circle, Would You Rather, like they can be total trash, but I just like something about that is like very appealing to me for there to be a game element in horror thriller. So if you have any recommendations for more books that are like that, that have like a game to them, or really movies too, because I'm always watching movies, please let me know. If you've read any of these, let me know. And I think that's it. So give me your recommendations for horror, thriller, anything with like a game element. And let me know if you've read any of these or if any of these sound interesting to you. But I think that's all for me. Bye-bye.